Hello live wires, Heather Boyd Wire here, and today it's Tip Tuesday. Today I'm making some super funky earrings and rings using multicolored ball chain. I'm using 22 gauge artistic wire, some mixed color ball chain pieces, and some silver ball chain. You can pick up the ball chain on Amazon. My tools are the Beadalon Glimmer Series nipper tool, the slimline chain nose pliers and round nose pliers, and you'll need a round form or a ring mandrel. I'm going to start with about 6 inches of 22 gauge artistic wire, bend it about an inch from the end and slide in the first piece of ball chain. I used a couple of inches, so if you want to measure about 20 to 24 little balls, you can always trim them at the end, and we're going to bend the wire in the middle of the strand and then give it a little bend with the round pliers and add the next one. Hold it in the crease and bring the wire around, giving it a good little tug. And then we'll get the round nose pliers again, bend it at an angle and slide in the next piece of the ball chain. You can do this all one color, or the rainbow colors are really cute. And we will continue adding our pieces, making sure they are centered. You can count the balls on either side to make sure you get it in the center, or you can easily trim these after you are finished. Bring the wire around, hold it firmly, and give it a nice little tug. Bend it with the round pliers, slide in the yellow one, hold it firmly in place, and bring the wire around the crease there. And one more, bend the wire with the round nose pliers, slide in the orange ball chain, and give it a good little tug. Try to even it out a little bit. And from there, we're going to make a little loop at the top so it can be hung as an earring. So with the round nose pliers, and then hold the loop and bring the end around. I cut my wire way too long. I like to have a little extra to work with, and you can use the scraps. And clip the bottom end as well. And now I am going to do another little row of wire. This time I actually used 26 gauge wire, so it's a little bit thinner on either side. It's just to hold the ball chains out a little bit. You can just leave them dangling without doing this step if you prefer. And we're going to wind it around and to the back in between each to hold the ball chains flat. So bring it around to the front and then up the back and separate the chains and bring it around the next one. The 26 gauge works well for this. It's nice and fine, but it holds it together nicely. And bring it around, through, and back up. Give it a good little tug, making sure the spacing is even, and bring it around to the last one and clip the ends flush with your flush cutters or your nipper tool. There we have one side done, and you can use a scrap of wire to do the other side. So flip it around and bring the wire in place and around the front and up the back. This way we'll just have a little discreet piece of wire showing. So try to make sure your longer bits of wire are on the back, although it's totally a case of personal taste, the aesthetic of how you want it to look. But this is a handy step to hold the rainbow out a little bit so it looks more like a rainbow. Making sure you're holding the piece firmly in place as you wind the wires around to the back and up, and giving the wire a good little tug as you go. Separating the chains, bring it through around around the front and up the back. And then around the last one, around, up the back. Give it a good little tug. Adjust it as you need. Flip it, and we will clip our ends. Just with the nipper tool or some good flush cutters. Give it a good little clip. And that's it for the design. You can do any little adjustings you need and add some earring hooks. Now you can use the same style of weaving. I just wove the rainbow chains together, and then I left the little doohickeys on that attach them. And to make the ring, you just snap them in place. So this is really fun. It's pretty easy to do. It just is a little time consuming to weave them, but it's worth it. It looks really cute. And the number of balls will depend on how big your finger is. So click them all in place. And there you have your very funky ball chain ring. And you can make it more narrow if you like to. So now we're going to take about 12 to 15 pieces of the artistic wire again, and I'm going to attach 2 lengths of the ball chain together. So holding 2 pieces side by side, bringing the wire around. You can use the entire piece of the ball chain if you want, or you can trim them smaller. Make these as big as you like. And it's very simple. You just wind the wire in between the balls. So round and round. And just hold and twist. Hold and twist, making sure the wire goes in the little crevices. And you're going to see it naturally twists as you go down, and we're going to work with that. We'll just tuck in that little end and clip it, cut off the extra, and pinch it in place. And it had started to twist more in the first one I did. It was more twisty, but depending on how much tension you put on the wire when you wind it around, it might twist more naturally. But it's very easy just to do a little twist by hand, and it makes a really funky kind of earring, and it should hold its shape pretty well. So bring it around as much as you like, and then we can form a loop at the top for the hook. Bring the wire around into a little loop, hold it with the chain nose pliers, and bring the end around. Clip the end, pinch in that little pokey end, adjust it as you need, and add your earring hooks. Now we're going to take about 12 to 15 inches of the 22 gauge artistic wire and take a single chain and wind it around. Bring the wire around, making sure you wind it around between each of the balls, and try to get it as even as you can. This one's a little tricky to get it even, but even if it's a little bit off, it's fine. It's still going to look nice. And doing this serves a dual purpose. It makes it look nice, and it helps the chain to hold its shape. So I just cut off a little bit of the extra chain. I'm going to wind it around a ring mandrel and then bend the wires up at a right angle. And now I'm going to add a 6mm bead. Stick both wires through the bead. Bend the wires at an angle so we can form our loop. Adjust it. Get your round nose pliers. Bring both wires around together. Bend the ends around to secure them in place. Clip the ends with the flush cutters and pinch in those pokey ends. Adjust it back on the ring mandrel so it's round, and add your earring hooks, and I'll link up some tutorials to make your own hooks in the description below the video. So now we'll get 6 inches of the 22 gauge artistic wire. We'll give it a little bend, and now we are going to add a single chain and wind the wire around just before the last ball, and bend and add another one. These can be as long as you want. They could be a couple of inches. Bring the wire, making sure you pull it tight enough so it holds the chain in place. And we're going to keep going, keep attaching our chains, and you can use as many as you want, but I decided to use 6 of them. Start the bend with the round pliers, put the ball chain in, hold it firmly in place, and then tug at that wire so it catches the last ball and it's secure. Give it a good little tug. And again, bend it with the pliers first. This makes it much easier to bend the wire around it if you start the bend with your pliers. That's a little hack that I use quite often. Bring the wire around, adjust it, and we're going to do another one. Bend it, attach the chain, feed it right in there, and tug the wire around to secure it in place. Just bring it right around and adjust them so they're even. Straighten the wire. So we have 6, and now we're going to bring it around into a circle. So compress it with your fingers and bring one of the wires right to the center and up. So that wire's straight up right in the middle, and bring the other chains together so it's made a circle. We want to push it right in and take the one end and wrap it around the vertical wire and up. So now we have 2 wires again. You could clip one of them if you wanted to, but this makes it a little more solid. Add a 6mm miracle bead. These beads have nice large holes so you can fit the 2 wires. Put a metal spacer bead and one 4mm miracle bead right on there. Perfect. Now make sure they're nice and firmly together. Hold them and push the wires to the side to form the loop. Make sure there's no slack in there. And we have the 2 wires. So you could get your round nose pliers, or these are the bail making pliers from Beadalon. They're handy to have. Make consistent loops and bring the 2 wires around. Clip the ends and pinch in the pokey little ends, adjust it, and there are your super cool dangly chain earrings and the whole collection. Thanks so much for watching the video. Be sure to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for lots more wire art and jewelry making videos. Check out my Etsy DIY shop for all kinds of templates, tutorials, and ebooks. Also my new jewelry making kits and surprise packs. Be sure to join the Wire Makers Club on Facebook to share photos of your wire art and wire jewelry. I always love being inspired by viewers' creations. Tune in to live streams every Wednesday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Wire Lady TV. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you the next time.